Take this matter with utmost urgency to prioritize the protection of human life, adherence to the law, preservation of public peace in all areas that are conducting election today by postponing the ongoing by-elections up to a time when peace prevails. It has never happened in the history of democratic Kenya that all electoral areas have experienced violence in one way or another. In Kasipul, you can see the member of parliament for Homa Bay town has been seriously harmed. You've seen a member, one of the candidates in Malava, being arrested. How dare you arrest a candidate participating in an election, but the failure has been on police and the security apparatus? We must call it out, and we should not let the mistake of the police run to the IBC. IBC has no problem, has set up all the systems. IBC is not a policing institution. IBC has no weapons. It has no security apparatus to manage elections. Their process needs to be supported and guarded by security. They own the weapons of mass destruction. They own the capital that is fueling these goons. While it may seem comfortable and convenient for you, in the long run, it is destroying the social fabric of this nation. We have built nations. Nations have been built. Nations have been destroyed. We are just at the blink of destroying our nations by clapping, participating, and sponsoring violence during election time. You are basically giving an idea to all those who will participate in general election that it does not, you do not need to go and look for votes. You don't need to campaign. All you need to do is just to go somewhere in a forest and train goons. If election of this manner is happening across only 9 or so electoral areas, if you are talking about chaotic environment in just about 9 or 6 constituencies, what about 290 constituencies? What a mess. So we are urging, this is not about the IBC. IBC has done its work. There is no delay of material. Everybody who was supposed to be at the polling station is there. IBC has done its work. There is no blame to IBC. What the blame here is to the police force. It is the security apparatus. Why are violence being perpetrated? Where is our police? Where is our police when goons are roaming across polling stations? Where are our police when goons are storming and burning people's cars? Where are our goons when people are beating each other live live on television, live on camera? These people, we are seeing them. The faces are unknown. The names are being mentioned. Where are the police? That is the question we are asking. If the police force cannot handle 6 constituencies, how can they handle 290 constituencies in general election? This is a recipe for chaos, and the leaders must not stand and think that somebody will come like manna from heaven to restore peace to this country. It is upon us, the leaders, the political actors, to calm down, to call each other to the table, and realize that we have a country to save. It is not about who is winning. It's not about who is losing. It's about who are you going to lead after you've won. That is the question you should ask yourself. Who are you going to lead after you've won? So the most and the paramount important thing to do now is to ensure that election is held in a peaceful environment, failure to which it must be postponed forthwith to a date in January where all the apparatus, security apparatus, the voters have been assured, and the candidates are also being assured. Otherwise, this is not an election. This is a war zone. This is a war. And we need to know that we have left our democratic principles and we have returned to anarchy.
When you talk about the police not being around, do you see the hand of the state in all this?
Yes, it is unfortunate that the state is the owner of security apparatus, and when there is a failure to security to maintain law and order, then it points finger directly to the state. The state, you are either directly involved, you are either complacent, or you have just failed in your work and your mandate to protect human life.
So what is the practicality of suspending or postponing this election to January from where you sit?
So that the police can...
Is it practical?
Yes, yes. Remember, these are not by-elections that have been occasioned by events of yesterday. These are by-elections that have been postponed. They have been pending for months because there was no IBC. If these by-elections have been pending for almost a year, what about just a month so that we have credible, verifiable elections? What is the hurry? If the environment is chaotic, if we have waited for a whole year to have a by-election because of lack of IBC, why can't we wait for 1 month to have some orderly conducted election?
How practical though, especially now that the process has already begun and we are expecting probably results to start trickling in, maybe at the end of the day and tomorrow?
Yeah, yes. IBC has a duty to give Kenyans credible election results. And one of the duties they have is also to follow the constitutional layout procedures of conducting elections. When elections has been interfered with by violence, goons, it shows that this is not an election that Kenyans can trust in. And therefore, IBC has a singular duty to own up to Kenyans and say this is not the right environment to provide new leaders to these particular areas. And we therefore ask for 1 month to sit down with security apparatus and ensure that there is peace in all the areas that we are going to conduct elections, and all those perpetrators of violence have been brought to book before we go into the next phase of election. And the reason is that peace must be above everything else in a democratic society. Elections and the leaders that have been announced out of a chaotic environment will automatically be subject to legal procedures. Whether you announce or not, the losers are going to go to court. The evidence are out there that there was violence. Violence are evident. The losers of these elections are going to court. And the court is going to nullify the election based on violence. So what is the need of taking the country round circles when you can shorten this by just postponing the election? Save the country out of the judicial process, save the country the humongous amount of money that you are going to waste on legal procedures, and just call off the election until the police are doing their work. Because this is not the failure of IBC. There is nowhere where IBC has been accused. For the first time, let us give IBC their dues. Let us call a spade a spade. IBC have not done anything wrong. And we must safeguard IBC because this is the singular institution that is going to give us the new crop of leaders. But the failure has been on police and the security apparatus. We must call it out, and we should not let the mistake of the police run to the IBC. IBC has no problem, has set up all the systems. IBC is not a policing institution. IBC has no weapons. It has no security apparatus to manage elections. Their process needs to be supported and guarded by security operators, which they have failed.
Labda kwa Kiswahili tu, kwa mtasari tu, labda mbona unahimiza kwamba uchaguzi huu ambao unaendelea kwa sasa uhairishwe? Na jana pia tuliona viongozi wa upinzani wakiwa Kalonzo Musyoka na Rigathi Gachagua wakianza mapema kushtumu IBC ambayo kwa sasa unasema kwamba imefanya kazi nzuri hadi sasa.
Mimi sio viongozi wa upinzani. Mimi ni I'm an elected leader. I'm a member of parliament elected. Wapinzani ni wale ambao wanataka kuja kunitoa kwa kiti. So to start with, I'm not a leader from opposition. I'm an elected member of parliament. And I'm here to tell you that it is wrong. Ni vibaya sana viongozi kuja kushtumu IBC. Makosa gani IBC imefanya? Tusikue wale watu wa kuangalia makosa kwa IBC hata kama makosa si IBC. Kupea makosa institution ambayo haishughuliki na hiyo kazi. Kazi ambayo tunashughulika saa hii, mambo ambayo inaendelea saa hii ni mambo ya ukosefu wa usalama. IBC haina nguvu, haina mwelekeo yote ya kutunza usalama wa serikali. Hiyo ni jambo ambalo liko kwa mikono ya polisi. Ndio tunasema tusikuje tu kuwa viongozi wa kushtumu IBC kila wakati. Hata kama IBC hajafanya tendo lolote, ni jambo gani IBC imefanya vibaya tutashtumu. Lakini kwa sasa mambo ambayo inaendelea ni mambo ya kupigana, kuharibu mali. IBC haina lolote la kufanya wakati watu wanapigana. Hiyo ni mambo ya polisi. Na ndio tunasema IBC makosa yake itakuja kama uchaguzi imeendezwa kwa njia ambayo si ya kikatiba. Lakini sasa hivi tunaona ni mambo ya ukosefu wa usalama. Ndio tunaongelelea sasa hivi. Ndio tunasema sheria inasema uchaguzi lazima ifanyike kwa njia ambayo iko mwafaka, njia ambayo iko na usalama, na kwa sababu hii uchaguzi haijafanywa kwa njia ya kisheria, itupuliwe mbali. Hii uchaguzi imeonekana kwamba watu wanapeana gifts, wanapeana mambo ya serikali kwa wapigaji kura. Unaona watu wanaleta mattress mbele, wananchi wanaleta mattress, viongozi wameonyesha kwa mtandao wakileta mattress jana. Na hiyo ni kinyume ya katiba na sheria za IBC. Unaona watu wanajenga vitu za serikali, wanaleta pesa, wanapea watu pesa. Unaona kwamba unapata watu wamenunua vijana kutoka sehemu mbalimbali waingie sehemu nyingine wakitumia pesa za serikali. Hiyo ni makosa ya IBC ama ni makosa ya serikali? So tusikuje tu watu kushtumu IBC kila wakati. Kila wakati ni IBC. Kama makosa si IBC, tushtumu IBC. Kama makosa itakuwa ya IBC, pia tutakuja hapa tutashtumu IBC. Kila mtu abebe mzigo yake. Hivyo ndio tunasema.